Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hi.
to our first conjoined live show. I'm really excited that we're doing them all together because then I can just freely talk and not feel like I have to censor which book I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Um, how is everyone's day so far? Let's start there. What are you guys doing? What's your plans for the day? I need to first say that I am terribly sorry to anybody who logged on at 2 for this because Sydney and I, when we discussed this, we discussed two separate times that we could have done it at. And I could have sworn that I scheduled this for 3 o'clock my time, but I guess I scheduled it for 2. And Sydney quickly reminded me when she called me at like 2:05, and she's like,
Hello.
so I apologize if you were here and really confused because I would have left you there until 3 if it weren't for Sydney. But I had like a lunch date with my one of my friends this morning, and then we went to Barnes and Noble and did a little bit of shopping, and I went and saw my parents, and now I'm like settling down for the day. What did you do, Sydney?
I tried to wake up early today. This is like the story of my life. I always try to wake up early, but I turn off my alarms and I'm like, I'm still tired. I'm just gonna lay here. Because I wanted to wake up early to go on my walk like early before it gets so hot. Um, but I still was able to get out and start walking at 9.
Mhm.
And I walked for like an hour and it felt great. And I finished, like, I was listening to 11 Other Words on audio while I was doing that. And yeah, it was fun. And then it got really, really hot. So I was like, okay, I'm done. So I walked back and then I've just been chilling. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's only 12 for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna have to get used to you being in like a new time zone. That's
Yeah,
gonna be weird for me.
we're through. Did we used to be only one?
Yeah, it was only 1 hour.
Now we're three? Dang.
I know.
That is an adjustment.
Maybe I should just live like on Vegas time.
Yeah, just
That
pretend it's 12 for you right now.
exactly. Um, welcome. I love that it's been great for you. Good, very lazy day. I love lazy days sometimes. I don't like them all the time because it stresses me out a little bit, but
Mhm.
I do love them like every once in a while to just like legit do nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you're having that. Which book do we want to discuss first? Because I didn't really have a plan. We can do like the primary pick first. So like we could talk about Love in Other Words first, but
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It like whoever read both, like let us know which ones you read. If you read both or if you read which, Love in Other Words or Every Heart a Doorway or whatever, just let us know in the chat. And then I feel like it would make sense to do the primary first. Um, but just so people know, like, or like so we know what everyone read and like what their situation is.
yeah. Jolene, I have already spent 8 hours reading today. Wait, what time is it for you? But that's amazing.
Probably in the UK.
That's like a full work day of like just reading. Oh, I want to do that.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Love in Other Words, read both. Love in Other Words, both. Okay.
Good job, guys.
I know.
Proud
Killing it. Okay, well then, yeah, let's talk about Love in Other Words
Yeah.
first then. Let's start with everybody's star rating. How did everybody feel about that one?
Yeah, it's good that we're starting with this one because this one's kind of fresh in my mind. I literally just finished it. Um, but yeah, so that's good. We'll talk about this one first. Also, the other one, I don't, I, I had a hard time paying attention to that one.
Yeah, that one had kind of a lot of moving parts, so
Yeah.
I get
But Love, in Other Words, what did you rate it, Janelle?
I gave it 5 stars. I this is seriously, like, a new favorite of mine, like, I really loved this book, and I at
Aw.
the end, I could have bawled my eyes out, but I was in a car with my husband and my brother and my sister, and I would've felt really weird to, like, just start crying, so I had to keep it together, but I didn't expect to like this book as much as I did. Like, I
Mhm.
really was just kind of like, "Okay, well, I'll read it," but
Mhm.
I loved it.
So you finished it in the car, like you were physically reading it in the car or listening to it?
Okay, yes, I figured out I can read in the car, and I don't get sick.
Lucky you.
I'm like a superhuman. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you are. I
It was so
wish.
weird because and it was even in the mountains where, like, the roads are, like, like, made
Jeez.
for car sickness, and I was kind of like, "Okay, I'll listen to my audiobook on the way home. Hopefully, that doesn't make me sick either because the car in general, I typically just feel sick when I get in."
Yeah.
And I was able to, like, literally pick up my book and read it physically the whole way home.
Wow.
It
I'm
was so
jealous.
I know, I didn't know I could do that, but now I'm, like, really excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your star rating?
Okay, so I listened to it fully on audio,
Okay.
and I liked it, but because it was fully on audio, I don't know if I can give it 5 stars. You know that feeling, right?
Yes, no, I know that feeling.
Like, but also I was, like, thinking, if I did read this physically, like, how would I feel about it? I don't know. So, I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars,
Okay.
um, because I did like it, but there was still a level of disconnect because of the audio.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
I know what you mean.
but I thought it was cute. I think, like, the other problem I had with it was sometimes it felt like nothing was happening. Like, I liked okay, so I really love childhood friends to lovers, like, that's, like, my
Mhm.
favorite thing. Um, and this one was fun because it was, like, a second chance romance also. Um, and I liked the back and forth, timelines and stuff, but sometimes it just felt like there was nothing happening, like, there was no plot or anything.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So
I could see that a little bit though, because it did at times, I will agree, like, it felt like there wasn't much going on, but for me, like, I loved the characters so much that I, like, didn't even care. Like,
yeah,
I was just so invested in them.
mhm,
So, yeah. But I see where that could happen.
yeah. And then again, like, I didn't, feel super invested in the characters. I liked them, but I didn't feel super connected.
Yeah, I get that though.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, like, right now in my stage of life, I just don't feel like I can connect to really any book.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be it too, but also audiobooks, I've never given an audiobook a 5 star. Like, I just have a hard time because it's not I don't know, I think it's because maybe it's the voice, like,
It's
because
definitely the voice for me.
yeah.
Yeah, and for the guy, is that what you just said? Yeah, when it's a girl saying everything, and then she does, like, her man voice, whatever, I'm like, "Oh, I can't."
Yeah, it's a little weird. Because even when I'm reading a book, in my head, for the girl, I hear my own voice, and then even for the boy, I hear my own voice.
Mhm,
So it's like no, yeah,
mhm.
I agree with the audiobook thing, though. Um, Read Love in Other Words. I feel like that was the popular one. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip, there's comments coming in. 9 PM in Germany, got that many times because I just finished my oh, so it's, like, later. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, but still, that's a good amount of reading. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Also, let me just say before we get too far into this live show, I have to be upstairs, so the Wi-Fi is not great up here. So, just FYI. Also, there's some roof people here, so if you hear clunking, they're on the roof. Um, and the dogs are freaking out downstairs because there's people on the roof. So, it's a little chaotic, just disregard. Um, 5 stars. I read this in February, and it is my favorite book ever. Ah, I love to hear that. Also, I love that you read it in February and you're still here for the live show. That's
Mhm.
the best thing ever. Love in Other Words is my favorite of 2022, 5
Dang.
stars. Yes. Oh, we have so many 5 stars. My first time annotating, love that. This is the perfect book to do that. So many fave quotes in this book. Yes, it was just so cute. I don't rate books. I think if I had to rate it, I would give it a 3 or 3.5. Okay, that's still, I mean, I don't know if that's a horrible rating for you. For me, that's like a kind of a in between. Um, but also, you don't rate books. Interesting. I like can't not rate a book, I feel like. It was great to me. Didn't cry though. Yeah, I didn't expect to feel so emotional. Like I literally have not been I'm not an emotional person when it comes, like, to books, like, I just can't. This one I didn't expect to be as emotional as I was. It was definitely weird for me. But I don't know. Did you have any type of like emotion or anything towards the book, like anything like that? No. Okay.
No, and when people like, I don't know what there was to cry about.
Okay, this is how I felt. This is exactly how I felt when I felt like crying. Like, I was like, "What am I even crying about?" But,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna talk about this part of the book, which does happen at the end. So if you're someone who hasn't read it, just, like, mute us really quick. Um, but I think the part that, like, made me cry is that, like, she realized, like, that she was blaming someone, like, she was blaming him for something that he didn't even do. It just was, like, a huge traumatic night, and I don't know, like, her accepting that and recognizing that and then willing to, like, work through it, I don't know, it was just, like, this beautiful little moment, like, I don't even know how to explain it, I just thought it was so cute, like, I cried more because it was just so wholesome rather than, like, it being, like, dreadfully sad.
Right.
That's
And I'm on the opposite of the spectrum. Like, I'm a very emotional person. Um, for books though, like it has to be like obviously good writing to make me feel the emotion. Um, and like if I feel that level of disconnect with the characters too, like all the way through it, then I'm like not going to be super um upset with whatever does happen. But I am really emotional, so like I don't know if I would have read it physically if I would have felt it more, but I don't know. There was just something about this one that I didn't find super emotional.
yeah, yeah, I totally get that. Um, I guess oh, wait, hold on, let me get to this really quick. Enjoyed love in other words, I don't have a problem with sex in a book, but I hated the sex scenes in this book. Okay,
I agree. I didn't like it either.
yes, I do think this needs to be talked about because I was listening to this on audiobook in the car with my brother and my sister and my husband, okay? And I didn't have headphones
No.
for one of the parts.
Girl.
And it's, like, the whole part where they're, like, straight up just, like, dry humping each other, like, just weird, okay? It was definitely weird. And it was really uncomfortable, and I didn't know what to do, and I was, like, really hoping that, like, my brother was, like, completely zoned out and, like, not even listening because I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so awkward." But I did feel like some of them were definitely really awkward, but, like, with that being said, I it was kind of refreshing for me in a sense because it made them feel a little bit more real. Because as someone who is married and that is something that you do, like it's not always like the books talk about. It's just not. Like I I don't know. Like that is something that my parents always told me like it is not like the movies. It is not as like beautiful and sexy as everybody thinks it is. Like sometimes it's just weird and it's just raw and it's weird and like it just is and I found that to be like really comforting and like I don't know, it was just very real, but I understand how that's also, like, a turn off, like, it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't like it. I typically am really turned off by awkward stuff, but again, I loved the character so much that it made it feel more real to me rather than, like, repulsed.
Yeah, okay. I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, that scene too where she says like, "Oh my gosh, we're having sex with our clothes on." She says that, and I was like, "That's not sex then. Like if your clothes are still on, that's not what you're doing." I just felt weird like and like remind me that part that was their first time, right?
I think so.
And so that was the flashback in like 11 years. What was it? 11 years ago? 10 years ago?
I
How
think it's
old
11.
were they then? They were like really young.
Yeah, well, I think that they were, like
16?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
I
was
get what you're saying about it feeling real and raw and stuff, but I don't really want to read about a teenager's first time. I think
right.
that's like a personal preference for me. Like I don't want to know that.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely I can definitely see how it would have been weird. Although, I think that's the thing too is I didn't like, obviously, it was their first time, but, like, it didn't register to me as their first time.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but it didn't. So it didn't make me feel like weird.
Mhm.
So I think it was just like, I don't know. I was looking at it like very differently than I think normal people were looking at it. Like I think I'm just crazy. Like I really don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just was very, I don't know. I loved it. Like I really did like love it. Oh, and weren't they outside or something for that part?
Oh, I don't remember. Were they
Under
outside?
bars or something? Isn't that when
Well, because they were at his parents, like his house, and his dad left to go get milk and stuff for dinner, right? That's what they said.
yes.
And then he comes back and like almost catches them. Why would
Yes.
you do it outside? I don't remember catching that part. Was it outside?
No, I don't think it was, but I think I remember something, like something happened between the two, then they were under the stars, and I think I'm mixing 2 moments.
Oh, I don't remember that
Or
part.
like, I don't even remember. I don't know. But yes, okay, that was really comical to me, like, because, to me, it was just, like, the reality of, like, a young high school relationship.
Yeah.
Like, you try to get away with things, and then, like, your parents come knocking on your door, and then you're, like, scrambling, and then you're like, "Everything's fine."
Yeah.
Like, that is literally just, like, how
That's
it
very
works.
real.
Yes.
The amount of
Well,
times that I,
yes,
like, personally experienced that too. Yeah.
yes, yes, which some of those moments I'm really not proud of, but, like, I just know that, like, that I don't know, to me, that was also just very real, like, someone almost walked in and, like, you almost got caught, and it's, like, awkward and
Yeah.
acting like nothing happened, but you both, like, know, and then, like, like, the parent is almost, like, suspecting, but you're, like, trying to play it off, like
Yeah. It just makes me think about, like, when I'm a parent, I will never be that naive. Like,
right.
as a parent, you have to, because
I
you were literally that age too.
yes.
Like, how do the parents not? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. Uh yeah, 16 and 17. I feel like the authors glossed over what Emma did to Elliot, and Macy's reaction
Okay,
bothered.
no, I did not like this at all.
Yeah, okay.
This was another big problem I had with the book, I think.
Yes, I don't know, like, it definitely made me mad what she did, but again, this is, like, a different perspective, like, I liked that it wasn't super highlighted because that wasn't, like, the main issue. It was, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was, like, the way that Macy reacted was the reason that they didn't talk again. So it's, like, what Emma did was awful, but, like, if Macy wouldn't have forgotten to call, then things would have been different. So I
Yeah. It just bothers me that it happened like that. Um, and then, like, I was literally listening to it, and, when he says, like, "Oh, I thought it was you," or I literally thought it was you that whole time.
yeah,
I was like, "What?" But then I get, like, he's drunk, like, really drunk.
right.
That's also, I don't know. I get it, like, I understand, I guess,
Mhm.
but I just didn't like that it was part of the book.
Yeah. I I think it didn't bother me all that much because it didn't feel like your cliche excuse. Like, it didn't feel like it was like, "I was just really drunk." But he was like, "I was drunk and, like, genuinely thought it was you," and, like,
I
I
just
don't
don't
know.
think I'd be okay with that still.
Yeah, no. If I was in her shoes, I would be like, "Okay, no matter what you thought, like,
Isn't
I"
gonna
yeah, right. But, like, in this situation, obviously, I was rooting for them because 'cause I've
Yeah.
just spent 300 pages with them, so but
Yeah.
yes, I also see that too. But yeah. Um, as a child, Macy might not have understood what Emma did to Elliot, but as an adult and physician, her reaction was problematic. Yeah, I didn't like Emma. Yeah, no, didn't like Emma either. I don't think anybody was supposed to like her. But
No.
no, definitely no. Um, I also am curious, is this everybody's first book by Christina Lauren, or have you read Christina Lauren? This is the first book I've read of hers. And I will definitely read more.
It's the first one.
This is the first one I've ever read by this author.
Mm.
Well, I say that, but I started In a Holidays
Oh.
2 years ago for Christmas, but I only read 100 pages, so I didn't feel like I knew her writing. But read this, and then after this, I read The Unhoneymooners, which I liked too, but this was my first one, and I
Oh, yeah, okay.
will read more by her for sure.
It's 2 authors, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Hers. So, theirs.
Theirs.
I know, I always say that.
I follow them on Instagram, I think.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my first one I ever read by them was The Unhoneymooners, and then I read In a Holidays last Christmas, and then this one. I think I've only read 3.
Yeah. Also read The Soulmate Equation. Okay, I've heard mixed things about that one though, but I would be interested to read it.
I think I don't know. I think I did expect a little bit more from this one too, because obviously it was really, really hyped and everyone here loved it too. I guess I just didn't understand it fully, where I was I was just wanting more.
Yeah.
Sorry, my husband's here. Yeah, so it could have been more for me. I didn't love it like I thought I was going to.
Yeah. This is my first by the author. I read On Honeymooners and In a Holidays. Yeah, I think those are the same 2 for me. My first, would love to read more. Same. This is my first by this author. Have the Honeymooners on my TBR for July. Yes. Okay.
I liked the Honeymooners a lot more too.
See, I didn't like the Honeymooners.
You didn't? What did you give it?
I think I gave it 3.5. It wasn't bad.
No, I can understand. Yeah.
It just felt uber cliche to me, and I just couldn't.
I loved it for some reason. I don't know
why. I know typically it's the cliche stuff that you don't like either.
But. Yeah. So I totally realized that it was cliche and cheesy while I was reading it, but was I don't even care. I love this book. So
yeah, there's just some books that are like that.
And it's so weird, how it can change, your reading taste like that.
Yeah.
It just depends on the time you read it too. 100%.
Yeah.
That has a big part in it.
Yeah. Did anybody have anything else that they want to say about Love in Other Words? I mean, I could obviously talk forever about this book, but I also feel like you guys know the gist, that I just loved it. So
I wonder if I'll ever try and reread it physically.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I should.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a weird thing about rereads. I'm I don't know when is the right time to reread it, when I can convince myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I owe it that, because I own it and I want to physically touch every page,
Yeah.
So maybe at some point I will.
Yeah. I think I would reread it. I really think that I would want to go back and reread this because I just enjoyed it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But if I listen to it just on audio, because I did audio, but I also followed along physically, which I think helped a lot.
Should have done that.
I feel like I would still reread this one if I felt like you. I gave it 4 stars, but it could have just been because of the audio. Those type of books I tend to want to go back to and really make sure that that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. What Erin said, I want to go back and annotate it.
Yes.
Or just highlight and underline.
I really want to annotate this one after reading it. And I wish I would have annotated the first time, because I feel like my first time reactions to this book would have been so fun to go back and experience.
Yeah.
That's okay though. But yeah. If anybody else has any last thoughts, you can go ahead and put them in the comments and we can talk about it. But I did want to move on to Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. This one, I'm pretty sure I gave 4 stars, I think. Can't remember. It wasn't a 5-star. I know that, but pretty sure I gave 4 stars. what was everybody's rating for this one? Because this one I felt like was a lot to follow. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I gave it 3 stars.
Okay. That's not horrible though.
It's not.
4 stars. Yeah, I wasn't. So I guess let's just go ahead and share initial thoughts. I wasn't like super like blown away by the book. However, I did think the concept was interesting. Like basically like the Alice in Wonderland, like she fell in a hole and went to this world and then came back. Like that whole concept, like we're seeing others kids have experienced that at the school, which I thought was really cool. Never read anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that everybody had a different door. So like everybody had a different world. And one of the biggest reasons I want to continue reading this is because I want to follow into all of these worlds because I was just like fascinated by oh, what's her name? I always get characters' names confused. Nancy. I was really interested in Nancy's world and like why that world was the one she was pulled to kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the magical realism aspect too, and like you said, the concept is really oh gosh, Valerie's 1 star. Um, I thought the concept was really awesome, but it just didn't give like all the way for me. Again, like I did listen to this one solely on audio too, but it was definitely interesting, and I'm gonna continue the series also. But it was just a lot to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna get through these ratings and then I have another thought about the book. Gave it 4 stars as well. I've also already bought the second and third in the series to continue. I also have bought the second. I listened to it on audio. 1 star. I had the worst time trying to get into it. I might give it another try. Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about giving it another try if you really couldn't get into it that much. Chances are it's probably just not for you. So don't feel like you have to
Yeah.
again. Um, what was I going to say about it? Oh, I started it on audio and then
Mhm.
finished it out physically.
Mhm.
And I will say there were definitely moments where I was like ready for it to just kind of like be over because I definitely guessed what was happening. Like I guessed who it was that was like murdering all of these people. But I also can't tell if I loved or hated that it was so short because the size of it made it feel like it could have been longer, but it was like rushed. So like I feel like there could have been more character development, more world building. Like I wish we would have started in Nancy's world and like her experience that world and then experienced her emotion when she got kicked out.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have connected me better to her and I would have understood her pain a little bit more. But because I didn't and I was only like hearing some of her thoughts, I just didn't feel like I was um like sympathetic enough for her.
Mhm.
I was kind of like, okay, and is kind of how I felt a lot of the time. So I
Yeah.
feel like that would have been a better approach.
Yeah, I like that idea too because I definitely love world building, especially in like a magical realism book.
Mhm.
So I wanted it to be a little bit more descriptive and stuff. But I like in the beginning I was pretty hooked right away. Like I did like it, but then it just didn't keep my attention the whole time. I'm glad it was as short as it was because if it was any longer, I would have really struggled to get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish there was more world building and descriptive like scenery stuff.
Yeah. Um, I agree that it just kind of started without any context. I was pretty confused for a while, but once I got into it, it got better for me. Yeah.
Hmm.
I I like how you put that too, like it started without any context because that's exactly how I felt about it. Like I was just more kind of asking like, okay, where are we? Is where I was for like the first 30 pages. I was like, okay, what are we what are we doing? Um, And I think it would have felt more like a magical realism book if there was more of the magical world.
Yeah.
Because all we got was like her, not even her flashbacks, but like her memories of this world that were like, she just remembered what it looked like.
Yeah.
No, I want to be like in the world and experience the world with you. And then I feel like it would have classified better as magical realism.
Mhm.
But because of the way it was set up, it didn't feel all that much like magical realism.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And then I was gonna ask if anybody's gonna continue the series, but I feel like I will continue the series.
Yeah, I will too. Because I've heard that like the first one isn't always like isn't people's favorites.
Yeah.
So some other ones are better. So
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of the Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I loved that book, but a lot of people didn't. That one's more horror, but it's kind of the same idea, sort of like going into a portal and it being like a whole other world. And I like following the characters. I mean, this one's different because like they're not from that world; they're from like the normal world, and then they go into the other world. But
Yeah.
I like that. I like that better because then you're learning about the new world with them, so it's very descriptive in that way. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's what I kind of just wanted to see. Like, it, I probably missed a lot in this book too because again, it was audio and like I space out. But like, it would be cool if they just went to everybody's world and like went through all these doors and it was like very like Monsters Inc. type vibe where you like go into all the doors and it's like totally different. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's what I kind of wanted to see.
Yeah. I love that idea too because we got like what kinds of worlds everybody went to. Like we got like little snippets of like, oh, she went to like a nonsense
Yeah.
world. We would like talk about that. But I wanted to be like in the worlds. Like
Yeah.
I really wanted more of that. So another reason I'm still continuing is like I know that I think that's what the whole series is going to be.
Yeah.
Is us going to each of these worlds. I'm like, okay, I really need more.
Yeah.
So let's go back.
Yeah.
So I definitely think they'll get better from here.
Hmm.
There'll be more to it.
It'll be interesting to follow like totally new characters though in each book
Yeah.
because that's how it goes, right? It's like a completely different kid
Yeah.
and like it's their own. It's like their story.
Yeah, which I don't always love when it changes characters in a
No.
series because it feels unnatural to me, but I feel like this one could end up being really cool. Like I think what will keep me connected is all of the like magical elements of it.
Yeah.
So, would anybody reread it?
I wouldn't.
No, I feel like I got the gist of it.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need to. Especially if it's a series, like I'll just continue with the series and try a different one.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something
I
about
was just gonna say, yeah, it also reminded me of the new Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see it?
Mhm.
Oh, you did? I love I love the idea of like a multiverse and just like going to different worlds and stuff. So like in that movie when you're following America, the girl who is like going through all these worlds and like you get to see the visual of it. Um like that's just what I want to like picture when I'm reading a book is like just things are totally different than like the real world. I don't know. I'm just talking nonsense at this point,
Yeah.
but that's just what I was thinking of is that movie.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good comparison too.
Like I want it to be like there's a world where like everything is made out of bubble gum or like everything is like rainbows or it doesn't always have to be like
Yeah.
happy. Like, there could be like a dark world too, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I just want it to be very descriptive. I like want it to be
Yes.
very imaginative. That's
Yes.
what I want.
Yeah. I want to feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder if any of the other books in this series go more into Nancy's world. Okay. I feel like they should. Like, if it doesn't, I'm gonna be like, really? Like, why are you gonna
Mhm.
hint at that world and then not let me see it? So
Mhm.
I hope that we do.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think wait, I don't think I really don't know yet.
About rereading.
About rereading, okay. I was not tracking for a second. Are y'all going to continue the series as part of a pick of the month, if that made any sense? Um, as of right now, no. It won't be one of, like, the book club picks. However, one of the months this year could be, like, another one of the books in the series.
Yeah.
But
I
the
didn't think
hard part with that is that it limits us to, like, that series as one of the picks all the time. So, like,
Mhm.
if somebody missed the first book, then they can't participate the next month with that book. I don't know,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
don't know. I didn't think about doing it that way either. But there's like 5 or 6, right?
I
There's a
think
lot.
it's 13 of them.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure there is, like, an insane amount. I really would need to know now. What is this
Really?
called? The what series?
Wayward Children?
Wayward Children.
Wow, if there's that many. Jeez.
Like, I thought I saw something on Amazon where it was like you could buy volume 1 through
Like a
13 or
box set.
something. But it's possible that it's not, like, the series, it's oh, wait, I might be speaking too soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far I'm seeing 8, like, the 8th one comes out next year.
Okay.
So 7,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that would just be like a huge commitment to have that be one of the picks every month for the book club.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. There's supposed to be 10 of them.
Oh, and
And
there's
one of them says it's book 4.5. What?
so there's a 4 and a 5, but a 4.5 in the middle.
Yeah. So, like, I
Mm,
understand if it's like a novella, but, like, these are already novellas.
they're already really short. Yeah.
Um, that's
Yeah, I
just gonna
think
be a
that
little
it's
effort.
just gonna be a series that we could all like continue on our own time.
Yeah, I think so too. Did you have any questions you thought about asking for this book?
Um, I mean, was anybody else just as confused as I was? Like I was. It's a young adult, right? It's supposed to be young adult.
I think it's technically, like, new adult.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least that's the section that it's in at Barnes& and Noble, but
Oh, okay. Sometimes I just feel so dumb when I'm reading a book, especially listening to a book. I
mhm,
want it to just be like really simple. Like I
yeah,
just want it. I just want it. I don't know. Like I think especially because like where I'm at right now with my reading, I want something just really laid back and like I don't have to think too hard. I want them to just tell me very simply what the heck is going on.
yes,
I would enjoy it so much more if it was like really dulled down. And
yeah.
it's not like it was overly complicated. I just don't have a lot of brain power right now, especially.
Yeah, there were definitely moments that went over my head too, and it could have just been that I started it on audio. But there definitely was a lot where I was confused, but that could be too that I didn't read the synopsis for this.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where this would go, so then when the first person was murdered, I was really confused. I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what?" I was like, "This is a murder mystery?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Pretty sure this is supposed to be magical."
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, OMG, same. Very confused 70% of the time.
Okay, good.
Had to stop a few times just to think about what I read. Extremely confused. It was such a hard book to get into. Do y'all know what the premise of the books are before you pick them? Me, 85% of the time, I do not read a synopsis. I just pick it. Like, if somebody has recommended it to me or, like, I see it coming up on Bookstagram a lot and people are raving about it, I just dive in. But if I'm at, like, Barnes& and Noble and I'm, like, shopping and I wanna get a book that maybe nobody's talked about, I'll read the synopsis, but typically, I don't I don't even know. I just kinda dive.
Yeah. I really go just based on like what the genre is. I don't feel like I need to know the entire premise. Um, I just need to know, like, if it's, like, for Love in Other Words, it was childhood best friends to lovers.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
Right.
Every Heart a Doorway, it is magical realism is, like, the only thing that
Yeah.
I went into it thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't love reading synopses.
Yeah. I also think it's way more fun if I don't, though.
Mhm.
Like, if I have no idea and then, like, I don't know. It's a different way of reading when you don't know,
Yeah.
and I tend to enjoy the books more if I don't know the synopsis. Like,
Mhm.
there's been books where I've read the synopsis and now I know what to expect, and then I don't love the book because
Mhm.
it already told me
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. So I typically don't. It just helps me like the book a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Me too on
I
this.
judge a book by its cover. I hate reading synopsis because sometimes it gives away too much. It does. Sometimes they tell you the entire book, and then you're like, "Well, what's the point of reading it? I just read it."
Yeah. And I definitely judge a book by its cover too.
Yeah,
It
I
has
do.
a
Yeah.
big part in it for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, typically I don't. I feel like I should. Like, I feel like I should read the synopsis and, like, read the book because it sounds interesting to me, but if it's a romance or a thriller, like, I'm getting it. Like, I'm just gonna read it because I
yeah.
love those genres.
Right. Yeah. I really do just do, like, go off the genre. Like, whatever
Yeah,
I'm feeling like reading, pick it from that genre, you know?
yeah, that's me. Don't. Don't. I don't instead. Um, yeah. I don't think I have any more, like, thoughts or questions about the books, except that I was really surprised that I, like, genuinely liked both books this month because I feel
Mhm.
like I typically either hate both books or I like one and hate the other. So it was kinda nice to have, like, 2 books that, like, I genuinely liked.
Yeah. I definitely didn't hate either also. Um, I had a good time with both. And they were both on audio, so, like, I was expecting to not really like them,
Yeah,
but
that
it
was
was
helpful.
pretty okay.
Yeah. Um, I flipped through the beginning to see if I can deal with the writing. Genres also matter for me. Yeah. The writing is not something that I typically look for either. Like, I've heard that people will, like, read chapter 1, like the first chapter of a book before they buy it. I'd never do that. I'm like, "Oh, it's
I
romance.
don't
Great."
Yeah, I don't do that either, but I should because writing is a huge deal for me
Yeah.
now. Like,
Yeah. It definitely, like, makes or breaks the book, but that's never something that I'm looking for. Like, I'm never looking to see if it's good writing before I read the book. I just come to find that out once I'm reading it.
yeah, it's also just, like, very complex too. Like, everything has to, like, line up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not only the writing that'll turn me off, it's not only the character, like, it's literally so much. It just has to be, like, the book as a whole, and you won't know that until you read the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't feel like there's a reason for me to not just buy a book based on what it looks like in the genre because I won't know until I fully read it, like, how I actually feel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, well, I think that is gonna conclude our live show. I hope that you guys had a good time, and I hope that you guys loved the picks for this month, and I hope that you choose to join us next month. I'm so excited for next
Mhm.
month, you guys. We're reading Every Summer After by Carly Fortune and also My Lovely Wife by
Samantha Downing.
Downing. That's the one.
Yeah.
Um, really excited about both of those. I am anticipating to love them both. So hopefully we have another good month. But thank you guys so much for joining.
Yes.
And we will hopefully see you super, super soon. Bye.